Hey everyone, this is Avatar Sage 7 back again for an Outriders update. They've released the latest patch, oops, that just came out today on April 30th, 2021. Not really sure what patch version this is specifically. Uh, well, the exact number, I'm sure it's on the Steam game of mine. But they've just released a new patch. They're still working on the inventory thing. Like I said, databases are a difficult thing to work with. Obviously, that won't really help with the players who are already dissatisfied, but unfortunately, that is the reality of databases. Not that I'm saying that one should just defend them specifically on that, but regardless, it should probably never have happened in the first place. Don't know why they didn't create some sort of additional backup mirror image of all characters' data before entering a mission beforehand. I'm sure that's what they did to help solve that problem later on, but I don't know for sure how they exactly programmed it. Anyways, regardless of that, so like I said, they have not yet done the inventory restoration or the can't connect to server issue. It's not yet totally and utterly fixed for all players right now. And yeah, so they did come out with some highlights, and we're just going to go through the patch notes real quickly. There's nothing, uh, no gameplay in this video specifically. So right now, their main highlights are they fixing a bunch of crashes throughout the game, which I haven't had too many, but it still does periodically happen sometimes on a rare occasion here and there, like when you're casting an ability in the middle of fighting something, the entire thing just dies. They've fixed a number of issues, bugs, and crashes associated with multiplayer, of which there are many. I don't know if it's changed any. I did play this morning after the patch was downloaded and installed, and I didn't notice any difference. I hadn't played any multiplayer just yet at that time. I was still playing around and leveling my Devastator through expeditions at that point, so I haven't had a chance to see whether there's still the yellow and red latency issues and rubber banding sort of effects that are going on. It's still kind of bad. Their matchmaking for that really needs to improve significantly because you could be matching the guy all the way halfway across the world, and that makes absolutely no sense because the latency difference would be so huge that literally people would be skipping around and like teleporting around you, and you literally wouldn't be able to kill anything. I literally had to abandon a multiplayer run because when I joined it, it was literally extreme latency, extreme lag, horrible. Uh, Lots of resolutions for gear mods, skill, quest, leveling, and lighting bugs. Not really quite sure what they mean by resolutions. I mean, I guess that means what, fixes or something like that. But that was explained in detail below, so I guess that's what they're talking about. Rebalance AI snipers and now give players more time to dodge their shots. Amusing, I suppose. I'm not sure how much more difference. Reduce the amount of knockback from creatures in Stargrave Expedition. There's now a greater delay between spawns and a reduced number of the offending creatures. Also, not really sure that really addresses the issue of the fact that there's so many monsters in this game that do knockback that you just literally cannot save or resist against. It's almost as bad as drains in Skyrim that automatically knock you back the moment they land on the ground and hit you with their tail or something like that. And you literally have no defense. Like you can't block, you can't hold block. There is no blocking in this game, so literally you couldn't block even if you wanted to stop that effect, which is ridiculous. Not really sure that helps solve any of the real problems of those having too many creatures and even elite humanoids or humans with the ability to just simply knock you back in time. I literally said before in a previous Outriders update video that they should probably implement some sort of timer delay or cooldown system for that, because if they're constantly knocking you back, it's like ridiculous. Like, what are they, every one of them superhuman, and yet you can't knock them back, and you're also a superhuman, so makes no sense. Fix a bug where a skill damage improvement mod on gear with a higher level than the player would actually reduce damage when used at lower world tiers, which was rather ridiculous. I don't know if I specifically encountered the bug because I never looked that closely at the numbers too often every time I'm mounting gear and then going to lower level tiers, which I often do actually, even at lower world tiers. So I couldn't really say specifically if I had that problem, but other players have noticed that literally you can actually do even less damage with higher level gear when you're at lower world tiers. So that was an issue the community did bring up. Fixed a bug that was causing a number of mods to not properly trigger their on shot or on critical shot effects if said shot was a killing shot. Not sure if I encountered that issue. I was using a lot of Winter's Blast and Wrath of Moloch, which is on critical hits. It causes an effect. Not sure if that happened when if it failed to trigger when it was a killing shot. So hard to say, but if other players say they encountered it, probably was the case. So fix a bug that causes Trickster's Hunt the Prey skill to not teleport but still go into cooldown. This has sometimes happened to me when I was using my Trickster. It would fail to teleport and would still go into cooldown, which was ridiculous. Not sure why that was the case, but they claim to have fixed the bug. So I don't know. Hard to say. I'll have to play my Trickster again. Fix an issue whereby the old crash dumps were not being properly cleared from the player's system. Haven't checked that yet. I do know where the folder is, but I haven't looked at it. Add support for rebinding the function delete end page down, insert home, page up, print screen, scroll out, caps lock keys. Okay, interesting. Not sure I'm going to use that part of the keyboard, but I guess some players do. The available field of view for configuration has been increased from 90 to 130. I set mine to 90. Not really sure why anyone would want 130 view because it looks a bit weird, but okay. So those were just some of the highlights of the fixes that they had. They literally said that you can search this and know specific details. We're going to go through it fairly briefly, the specific sections. They got resolutions, general resolutions, multiplayer, gear, skills, mods. I guess resolution means fixes. Enemy boss and NPC related changes. I guess they could have just used changes rather than resolutions. Quest and exposition specific changes, audio and dialogue changes, and other minor bug fixes. I doubt audio and dialogue will be a big thing for most people, but it could be. So they changed the field of view, the crash logs, PC experience, remapping of buttons, and that's nothing special really. A lot of controller issues were fixed. Razer Chroma had problems. They apparently fixed. I've had problems with just making my MSI Afterburner work when the game is running. It literally won't run if MSI Afterburner is active, and I've seen nothing about that. Maybe I should report that bug, but whatever. I can live without 10% extra performance from MSI Afterburner. Cutscenes locked 60 FPS even when selected at higher frame rate. They fixed that, they claim. Nothing special of that, and fixed some HUD issues. So then we have general changes and bug fixes. Mostly crash fixes, getting stuck on the sign-in screen. No, don't know what the hell they're going to do to fix the stuck in the sign-in screen part, really. I guess maybe they finally do it so that it shuts off the game automatically. I haven't run into that issue just yet after the patch. Fix some lighting, shadow and reflections in some levels and cutscenes, some collision texture fixes, other stuff, more detailed graphical stuff that they fix. Numerous cover fixes specific locations, including character alignment, cover to cover transition, and blind fire. I don't even use that anymore. Literally, you just can't use that in expositions because you have to move so fast and the enemies literally come over and rush you and flush you out faster than you can imagine. Literally, the cover system, totally useless. Camera movement has been improved during some cutscenes to make it smoother. Complaints among some players with the really shaky camera. Improved visibility of the crosshair. Yeah, that's a big problem I've had. I can barely even see the blasted thing during a lot of fights. In fact, I still think it's ridiculously small. I haven't noticed any changes yet that were obviously improved. Some of the tutorial pop-up notifications, side quest icons will no longer persist on the map after completion. The crosshair will no longer disappear when looking at allies. Really? Wouldn't know. Fixed some other little issues. They had some rebounds. The over-leveling, system scaling multipliers haven't adjusted. This is the more important part, I guess, or one of greater interest to most players. The system will activate one level later when your average gear level is a minimum of 3 levels higher than the enemies you're facing rather than the previous 2. Outgoing damage will now be reduced less. Improvements made to incoming damage scale, meaning players will feel more powerful without completely eliminating the threat of enemy NPCs. I guess I haven't noticed that yet because I haven't played at lower levels this morning, or lower world tiers or challenge tiers. Conditions that will trigger the system have been cleaned up, which will eliminate unintuitive behavior such as damage increases when using lower level weapons. Also kind of stupid, actually, if you think about it. Don't know why they didn't figure that one out when they were figuring their scaling setup, but oh well, whatever. Overall code optimizations. Now we come to the multiplayer. So a bunch of default background matchmaking settings have been changed to closed. Previously was open, really? Because I thought 2 patches ago it was already set to being closed. Guess they made sure of that for sure this time. Kind of weird. Can be changed in your settings. Fix a bug that could prevent clients from joining the host. Yeah, I've had that happen plenty of times when I enter a new expedition. The rest of the players who were already on my team literally didn't end up following. It doesn't happen all the time, but it happens like once a day at least, or once every few hours of play. Resolve performance issues that appear right after loading into a co-op game. I don't know if that's going to really be fixing rubber banding and yellow and red latency signs, but whatever. I'll have to see again. Improve the loading time for players' gear when joining a co-op session. I've only had a few instances where it took more than a minute at least or more to have the gear actually appear on my character. I was naked until then. But that only happened once in a while. Fix the bug where a client could load into a corrupted lobby if the host lost interconnection while loading into a game. Okay. Fixed an issue where the host would be unable to select a story point that other clients had not unlocked. I haven't personally encountered that problem yet, so now a notification will now be shown to the host telling them that the clients or their fellow players may not have unlocked that part of the story. Whatever. Clients will now properly receive the story mismatch prompt when joining a host. Fix the bug where a player with a complete storyline was unable to join expeditions if a story point before the end game had been selected. Okay. That is also possible, I guess. Fixed an issue whereby client characters might not properly spawn when retrying expeditions. It could happen. I haven't personally experienced it. I guess other players have plenty of times. Fix a number of bugs that could cause issues or errors to appear following a host migration. Fix a bug that could cause players attempting to join each other's sessions to get stuck on the waiting to join screen, which I have happened once or twice in the last week or two. Fix the bug where trucks were no longer visible for clients when joining a host in the quarry. Fix the bug where the boss in the Eye of the Storm expeditions could appear duplicated for clients during cutscenes. Fix another bug where the client's map failed to update. A bug in Dying Witch side quest where the host could get stuck in the quest area if the client is disconnected. Fix an issue where audio can disappear if the host migration occurs during a cutscene. And then there's the gear changes. Crafting, they rebalanced it so that the costs of improving rare to epic and leveling epic gear from levels 1 to 30 have been lowered. This will make improving items cheaper in the early game, but the cost is still as expensive, crazy expensive it is once you're into expeditions past level 43, especially for pod resources. You have literally no choice but to keep advancing as fast as possible in order to get enough pods to level all your gear properly, or you're going to have to grind lower level tiers even more often. And I don't know. It depends on how long you want to make the game last, I suppose. Fix a bug where a skill damage improvement mod on gear with a higher level than the player would actually reduce damage when used at lower world tiers. So I mentioned that in the highlights. So they claim to have fixed that. I won't know until I play in a lower world tier, which I try not to do too often, but still does happen. Though it is useful for grinding titanium in certain situations, especially the molten Akari. Fix a bug that caused the UI to display a 0 in the preview when upgrading the Hell's Ranger's weapons. Don't know, never ran into that. Though I must say that their legendary drop rate is so low that, and this isn't covered in this patch at all, that literally you could be on World Tier 15 and still not get very many legendaries drop at all during fights with regular monsters during World Tier 15, which is, I mean, or even main bosses. I suppose the Christ Lord would be the only exception. I've always managed to get one legendary of that blasted thing every time I play it, even at lower world tiers. So who knows? I'm not really sure, but they probably should up the rate somewhat to make it more interesting. And then work on some actual, expanded DLC content rather than trying to make this game go on and on with the grind here. Trickster. They fixed that Hunt the Prey teleport bug that I mentioned in the highlight section. Resolve instances where Hunt the Prey could be used to teleport to unintended locations. Never imagined that would work. Fixed a bug that caused the Trickster's Venator's knife marked revenge after casting Hunt the Prey on the marked enemy. Don't know if I noticed that. Really, it might have happened because it tends to be I hit them so fast that I don't even know if the knife vanished or not. Fixed a bug where the move groove anomaly and firepower buff icons did not appear correctly on the HUD. For the Pyromancer, they fixed a bug that was preventing the Pyromancer's Feed the Flame skill from applying Ash status effect to Screechers. Couldn't tell, I haven't played the Pyromancer in some time. Fixed a bug where the Phoenix Nestling skill that occasionally granted the player the incorrect hit points in multiplayer now grants the correct 50% hit points. Fixed a bug that caused Pyromancer to exit cover after using Thermal Bomb skill. That has happened to me plenty of times actually. When I was using the Pyromancer, I used Thermal Bomb, I always would be out of cover for sure if I had been using cover. So I wouldn't be back in cover. Fixed a bug that could cause the Pyromancer's Boots of the Lava Lich legendary gear item to not include the appropriate mods. No, never got that piece of legendary armor. Devastator. Fixed a bug that causes the Perseverance mod's damage reduction buff to not correctly end after the golem effect wore off. Couldn't tell. I probably didn't even have that mod. Loaded out that mod. Fixed a bug with the Devastator's extra Quake mod, which sometimes provides more than one extra skill activation at the end of the fights. I've used that mod a lot and I haven't had that problem. Fixed a bug that caused lurkers affected by Endless Mass skill to appear on top of the player if you walked under them. Fixed a crash that could occur if you boulder dash into a wall. Fixed instances of gravity leap causing players to get stuck in unintended places. Well, no, I didn't use gravity leap that often. Resolved instances where boulder dash could be used to reach unintended locations. Technomancer rebounds. The Mini Gun Massacre, which was changed in the previous patch, has had its duration revert to its original value. But it will now only stack up to 6 times. I don't know what its original value was because when I was testing it on Technomancer, it was only 3 seconds for its anomaly power bonus per kill or something like. Every time you killed someone with the minigun, not that the minigun is very powerful anymore once you get into higher challenge tiers in the expeditions, and now it only stacks up to 6 times rather than unlimited times. Okay, sure, whatever. Rarely managed to kill even 6 enemies with this gun usually. Before I had to focus on a boss and eventually would run out of bullets. Fixed a bug where the toxic lead armor mod was not triggering properly if an enemy was killed via skill. That was a problem for that mod for sure. I hope this fix is going to be for real or will actually be working. But then again, I haven't been using the Technomancer build, the gunpowder, firepower, toxic lead build for that. Fixed a bug where the Technomancers would be stuck on their main weapon if they use Tool of Destruction and Pain Launcher at the same time. No problem so far, I've encountered it. But they say they fixed it, so whatever. Fixed a bug with Tool of Destruction where melee or further skill use was prevented if the skill was interrupted by using the mouse wheel. Not a bug I ran into. Fixed a bug where the Perpetuum mobile weapon mod was also replenishing the Technomancer's Tool of Destruction mini gun ammo. Some players are trying to use that trick to keep it using the minigun, but now I guess they've totally nerfed or fixed that, however you want to see it. Fixed a bug that allowed the Technomancer's turrets to be placed on vertical surfaces. Never had that one happen. Though I've had it been placed on people's heads and then it would be floating in midair. Fixed a bug that could cause the AI to ignore Technomancers if a turret had been spawned before the AI spawned. Not sure if I noticed that one either. Fix the set description of Borealis Monarch set, which I am using on my Technomancer's Tech Shaman version of the build. Skills can now be properly cast when using the targeting feature after changing the key binding. Okay, not really sure what targeting feature they're talking about. Improve the visual indicator for throwables. Not sure on how improved that's going to be. It's usually some big arc and then you have to like literally throw it. I usually don't even bother with that, so it can be a bit too slow. Gears and mods. Fix a mod that caused the Anomaly Surge Tier 1 mod to not proc as expected. Okay. Fix a bug that caused legendary set bonuses to not show correct items being active in the armor details. Fix a bug that caused bright lights to appear on the screen when using the Stormweb mod. Minor visual fixes to female gloves. Fixed a bug that was causing certain mods to not properly trigger their on-shot on critical. Yes, I mentioned that before in the highlights. Enemy boss and NPC related changes. They talk about the AI snipers again, giving more time to dodge their shots, reduce the amount of knockback from creatures in Stargrave. Like I said, the problem here is that this is just a common problem across all of these creatures in every mission and expedition. They fixed some bugs with the Molten Akari, fixed some little minor glitches with the Chrysaloid issue, and an issue where the boss fight for the Chrysaloid didn't progress if the player kills the boss during the black screen between phases. Fixed a bug that could give visitors unlimited healing when using the Impale skill during the Yagak fight. Okay, didn't even know about that. Fixed a bug that prevented the Broodmother from dealing damage to the player with melee attacks. Okay, while staying on an elevated platform located on the left side of the encounter area at the outpost gate in the quarry. Wouldn't know. Fixed a bug where the crawler range attack was damaging players beyond the attack range. That was a big one for me. I've been hit by that thing from halfway across the screen practically. I'm not even sure that thing's range was supposed to be that far. Strix are now able to better cope with players standing too close to a wall. Fixes to AI including Berserker padding optimization, skill usage, as well as reacting to improperly attacking players. Oh, I guess it's those ferals. Feral Berserker NPCs. Health bars for enemy skills such as Anomaly Rifts are now correctly hidden if the enemy health bar mode is set to hide in options. Animations for enemies have been fixed in certain situations, particularly when in cover and recovering from knockdowns. Fixed a bug that caused weightlessness mod issues on crawlers. Changed some issues that caused the game to become unresponsive when interacting with NPCs, especially when using skills or changing input methods. Fixed a crash that could happen during the enemy spawn in the first area of the Chempline expedition. Fixed a rare bug where players were unable to properly sell items to vendors. Fixed an issue where the cursor could turn invisible during dialogue with NPCs, and fixed NPCs T-posing in certain situations. Okay, whatever that means. Quest changes. They fixed some bugs to the stash that would lock players out if they died in the Bad Day side quest. Fixed a bug that prevented the Big Jaw Monster Hunt side quest from being completed if the player died during it. I have died during it, but never had that problem. The navigation line during Relic's main quest has been fixed. Fixed a bug that made the Historian quest in Dead Rock Pass inaccessible to players to initiate combat after triggering the exit prompt. Fixed a bug in the Sacrifice main quest that prevented progress by not updating the objective correctly. Fixed a bug that allowed players to charge the obelisk before the appropriate cutscene had been completed. Fixed a bug that could cause store achievements to not unlock correctly when the criteria was met. Then they have a bunch of audio and dialogue changes and fixes and some other minor changes here. A co-op exploit where the multiple legendary rewards could be obtained from the Historian Bounty and Monster Hunt quest signs has been fixed. Add protection for when claiming items from the inbox when the stash and inventory are full. And let's see, fixed some other bugs here and there, dialogue and text correction. That's really it for most of the changes so far, really. And all I can really say is, it's okay. Nothing that I can say that's obviously overwhelmingly amazing. It would be great if they could figure out a way to balance the classes in some regard. I mean, with regards to, firepower builds versus anomaly and tank builds being totally and utterly pointless at expedition endgame practically. I've literally just discarded all my tank builds and their gear or ignored those pieces I still have in favor of either anomaly or firepower. And admittedly, I find I'm not that I enjoy anomaly builds, but they themselves can be quite powerful depending on the version. I've got a few builds that are working out quite well, but like I said, there's a lot of things that this game needs improvement or changes, or just the way it works. Whether they'll happen, especially since this isn't exactly a true live service game, just a pseudo live service game, remains to be seen. And so that's really just the update for the Outriders patch that came out today, April 30, 2021. Hopefully, if you found any of this information somewhat amusing or something like that, feel free to subscribe or leave a like or something of that nature. And hopefully, I'll now talk to you soon. I'm probably going to be doing another video on updates, but this time it will be for Guild Wars 2. So stay tuned and see you later.